This is Breaking News.
Good morning, I'm Chris Raggy.
And I'm Mary Calvi. We're getting new information on the deadly Metro North accident that killed 6 people.
The NTSB is holding a briefing right now. Let's listen in.
Before I begin that, I would like to offer our sincere condolences for those who've been affected by this tragedy. Truly, our thoughts and prayers go out to them. So, again, we've just arrived on scene. The NTSB will be investigating this accident. We don't have a lot of hard facts that we would like to give you about the details, but we will be providing those later today. But what I would like to do in this would be to take this opportunity to explain to you what our investigative processes will be as we go throughout this investigation. We have brought in experts, NTSB investigators, with expertise in the following areas. Signals, railroad signals, traffic signals for roadways, for highways, railroad crossing gates. We've brought in experts to look at survival factors, medical records, recorders that would be on the train that could give us an idea of the speed of the train and braking. We've got experts in emergency response, in track, highway factors, fire science, the mechanical condition of the train itself. And in addition to that, we've brought in experts from the NTSB's Office of Transportation Disaster Assistance, who will be here to provide support and assistance for those families who've been affected by this tragedy. We've got several busy days ahead of us. We intend to find out not only what happened, but we want to find out why it happened. And our sole purpose for being here is to find out what happened so that we can offer recommendations to hopefully keep this from happening again. And that's why we are here. We will be keeping you updated. That's my job of being here, is to keep you updated as to what we're finding. Our plan is to be able to hold a media briefing this afternoon. Again, we've just arrived on scene. There's a lot of information that you've already heard. Our job is to confirm that information before we release it. So we will be trying to come up with factual information while we're here. Again, the plan is to give a media update later this afternoon. You may follow us at Twitter. Our handle is @Twitter, and the NTSB's website will provide information. That's www.ntsb.gov. Again, we don't have a lot of factual information at this point, but if there are questions concerning the investigative process, how we will go about investigating this accident, I'd be glad to take a few questions. So I'll take 4 questions.
Robert Sumwalt, there have been reports that passengers did not receive any instructions on evacuating this train. Any indication at this point whether this process of getting passengers off the train happened fast enough? Have you had a chance to speak to passengers?
Let me be perfectly clear. In this press briefing, I'm going to discuss the NTSB's investigative processes, because we have not confirmed any of that at this point. We will. By the time we've completed this investigation, we will know everything that we need to know. But right now, we just got here. So if you have a question about how we will conduct our investigation, I'd be glad to entertain.
What the first thing is that then you do? I mean, do you look right at the first car? Do you take an aerial view? What is?
Yeah. So what is the first thing that the NTSB will do? Our investigator in charge is Mike Hiller. I'll be introducing you to him at our next press briefing. We just arrived. He and I just arrived with the rest of our team. We have officially taken command of the accident scene. We will. Mike is out there with his team now, getting a first look at the wreckage. They're out looking at the first car. They're walking that. We will be documenting the wreckage. We've already asked for aerial footage, very good high definition aerial footage. of this site so that we can use. So our first order of business is what we've already done. That is to take command of the accident scene. And from there, we start very methodically documenting the wreckage. We've brought in a 3D laser scanning device to be able to scan this wreckage. So that's what we'll be doing. I would imagine that we will be on scene, and this train will be moved out of the way. It will be moved probably later this afternoon and taken to a storage facility, these cars. But we will be on scene 5 to 7 days collecting what I call perishable evidence, the information that can go away with the passage of time. That's what we're here to do. Document the scene, start collecting that perishable evidence, interviewing witnesses, talking to anybody, collecting information about any camera footage that may be there. We would like to ask that any witnesses, if any witnesses have information they would like for the NTSB to know, they can contact us. We've set up an email address. That email address is witness@ntsb.gov. Again, witness@ntsb.gov.
Sir, what is perishable evidence? If you can explain what that kind of stuff that is.
What is perishable evidence? I describe perishable evidence as that information that can go away with the passage of time. Again, this train will be moved as soon as it can. As soon as it can be moved. Witnesses are people's memories fade over time. So anything that train records, for example, or crew training records, that's not perishable evidence. That's information that's still going to be there in a week. So we want to get everything that will go away with the passage of time. There's a question here. Yes, sir.
How long before you or some of your members of your team actually are able to speak with some of the operators that were on the train?
When will we interview the operators of the train? That is obviously a very high priority for us, but we have to understand that the people operating this train have been through a lot of trauma, mentally and perhaps even physically. So we want to make sure that they are in a position that they can comfortably speak to investigators, but that's a high priority, and we would hope to be able to do that within the next 24 to 48 hours, depending on, I don't know at this point their medical condition, but that's a high priority. I'll take 2 more questions.
Sir, in terms of the recorders, what data is in there that you want? How long will it take till you get to download it and see it?
The question is about the recorders, and so there are different types of recorders. There are event recorders on the train, and that information has already been secured. So that is available for us to download immediately. The train recorders will tell us information such as the train speed, any whistle indications, brake applications, again, horn sounding, so it will tell us information such as that. In addition to the train recorders, there are event recorders on the signals. So the crossing gates, they have event recorders in them. The signals themselves, the green lights and the red lights that are alongside the railroad track, they have signal recorders, they have event recorders. And so we will be looking, all of that information those recorders have been secured, and we will be looking at that today. So that's what's going on there. So there's one last question.
If we have weather coming this way, how is that going to affect your investigation? Any snow or anything like that?
How will the weather affect our investigation? It will be cold and messy, but it will not impede our investigation any more than snow would normally impede anybody doing anything. So again, the train will be moved, so we will be, and it will be in a storage facility, covered storage facility, so we will be able to inspect it there. As far as interviewing people, that doesn't really get affected by the weather unless they can't physically get to where we are. So I've already, okay, so I'm going to call, I think that was the last question, but my commitment to you is that next time we meet, I will have some good, hard facts for you. But again, we've just arrived on scene. We've just taken getting our first look at it. But when we have afternoon, my goal is to have information for you. Now, if we haven't been able to ascertain anything in the next few hours, then we may not have a media briefing, but my goal is to get as much information for you as we possibly can. I wish I had more time. I've got to get out here and start looking at this wreckage myself. We will keep in touch with us through our media and our website. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the latest briefing from the NTSB on the deadly Metro North accident. We are hearing that the damaged train will be moved later today.
And they will, as you just heard the man say, they will have much more information coming up later today, and we will, of course, bring that to you. Coming up on CBS 2 News at noon, we'll have a complete update on the situation. For now, we go back to regular programming.
This has been Breaking News.